Most people wake up every day without a plan, without purpose, just going through the motions. And then they wonder why life keeps knocking them out. You can't go easy in life, man. You've got to attack life with everything you've got. And that starts with a prepared mind. I don't leave anything to chance. I'm always accounting for what could happen, what might happen, and the curveballs I can't even see coming. Do I have all the answers? Hell no. But I know life's going to throw some shit at me, and I refuse to be caught off guard. Like tomorrow, I already know I'm not going to feel like working out. I know I want to skip it, make excuses, tell myself it's okay. But fuck that. I'm preparing my mind right now for the battle tomorrow. Because guess what? Tomorrow's going to bring some bullshit. Maybe it's tough decisions. Maybe it's bad news. Maybe it's losing someone. Life's cruel like that. So you've got to armor the fuck up mentally and physically. This ain't about being morbid. It's about being ready. When life starts swinging, you better not be standing there like some weak ass victim. Build that mental armor. And the physical shit, that's the foundation. The stronger your body, the stronger your mind. It's all connected. Man, discipline wasn't handed to me. Nobody taught me this shit. Not the military, not school, not my parents. I was undisciplined as fuck, a lazy, ignorant kid with a 4th grade reading level. But instead of running from that truth, I owned it. I said, all right, I suck. Now what the fuck am I going to do about it? I sat my ass down at that table and faced my weaknesses head on. Couldn't read. I read. Couldn't write. I wrote. I grinded my way through learning disabilities day after day, year after year. And you know what? That discipline I built through study and carried over into my workouts, into every part of my life. This shit isn't about running from what you're bad at. It's about doubling, tripling down on those weaknesses until they're no longer holding you back. You're good at running. Cool. But what about the things you suck at? You avoid them. And that's why you're stuck. To become a full human being, you've got to face those demons. That's the only way to grow. Man, I realized one day that I'd been running my whole fucking life. Running from everything I sucked at, running from the truth, running from the hard shit I didn't want to face. And I thought, fuck that. If I'm ever going to be something, I've got to stop running and start owning. So I dove headfirst into the pain, the struggle, and the failure. I didn't just face it. I became one with it. That's when shit started to change. Go to that dark place in your mind, the one you've been avoiding. Stay there. It might take months, maybe years, but you've got to dig until you find your purpose. And let me tell you something. Finding your purpose isn't easy. It's buried under all the noise and bullshit you surrounded yourself with. But once you find it, you've got to get to work. The planning phase. That's the easy part. That's where most people get stuck because it feels safe. Writing it all down, making it look good on paper. But plans don't mean shit if you don't execute. And execution is where the pain begins, where failure slaps you in the face over and over again. Most people quit right there, but that's where I thrive. That's where I grow. Every fucking day's a battle. Your mind is always trying to pull you toward the path of least resistance. But guess what? The easy path doesn't make you better. It makes you average, and I refuse to be average. This life, it's not for everyone, and that's fine. But for me, happiness isn't about comfort. It's about conquering myself. When you know yourself inside and out, when you've fought through the fire and proven to yourself that you can endure anything, you stop giving a fuck about what anyone thinks. You can walk into a room full of people who hate you and feel unshakable. Not because you're angry, not because you're arrogant, but because you know the truth. You've earned your spot. It's about putting in the work every damn day. Walking the walk, no excuses, no shortcuts. When you've done that, when you've truly put yourself through hell to get where you are, no one can take that from you. That's a feeling most people will never understand. But it's everything. It's peace, power, and freedom all rolled into one. Life ain't fucking easy. It's always testing you, always trying to hand you a way out, an excuse to quit, a reason to stay down. But you've got to show up every single day, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how much it hurts. That's the mentality you've got to have. The kind that says, fuck the excuses, I'm here to fight. Life beat the shit out of me. I mean, I was down. Rock bottom, knocked the fuck out in the 12th round of a 15-round heavyweight fight. But guess what? I wasn't done. While life thought it had me, I started getting the fuck back up. By the time the 15th round came, I didn't just survive. I knocked that motherfucker out. That's the mindset of can't hurt me. It's not about being unbreakable. I was hurt, man. Beaten, scarred, fucked up in every way you can imagine. But it's about refusing to let life keep you down. It's about standing back up, looking life dead in the eye and saying, you don't fucking own me. My childhood, that shit was a battlefield. My father, the bullies, the learning disabilities, the stuttering, the failures, they all tried to bury me. Every single one of those things was a fight I could have lost. But I chose to face them, to confront them, to fucking overcome them. If I didn't, they would have consumed me. Here's the thing. I started looking at my past differently. All that pain, all those struggles, they weren't just hardships. They were the ultimate training ground. Life was preparing me for war. And I didn't even know it. And as crazy as my mindset seems to people, I know there are others out there like me, warriors who can take this shit, who can use this mentality to dominate life instead of being a victim of it. The moment you start seeing your pain as preparation, everything changes. Suddenly, the bad shit isn't just bad. It's your fuel. It's your weapon. You look back and realize it wasn't breaking you. It was forging you. Even now, I'm still testing human potential. How far can we push? How much can we endure? How far can the mind take us? The truth is, most people don't even scratch the surface of what they're capable of because they're too scared, too comfortable, too quick to quit. And let me tell you this. Regret is the real enemy. At the end of the day, I ask myself one question. Can I take one more step? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. Most people could take that step, but they choose not to. That's the difference. If you can take one more step and you don't, that's real failure. That's real quitting. It's not about knowing if you can take 2 or 10 steps. That's irrelevant. Focus on the next fucking step in front of you. Take it. Then ask the question again. At the end of the day, the choice is yours. You either take that step or you live with the fact that you quit. And for me, I'll die before I live with that shit. Most people think I'm just some crazy motherfucker who runs, screams, and drops motherfucker in every sentence. That's the highlight reel they see in a 1-minute video. But let me tell you, that's nowhere near the full story. There's a hell of a lot of thought, pain, and rebuilding behind taking a born loser like me and turning him into who I am today. You don't just wake up and become some Rocky Balboa badass. You wake up fucked up. You wake up scared. You wake up ashamed of who you are. And if you're like me, you realize there's only one way out. You've got to face that truth and rebuild yourself piece by fucking piece. I wasn't born Goggins. I was born David Goggins. And let me tell you, David Goggins wasn't good enough. David was a scared, abused, bully kid. Anytime shit got tough, no matter how hard I trained or how ready I thought I was, David would show up and quit. Every damn time. So I had to build someone new. I had to create Goggins. That meant going back to the drawing board. The mental lab. That's where the real work happens. It's not glamorous. It's digging holes in the fucking dirt. It's waking up at 4 a.m. when you don't need to. It's pushing yourself past every limit you thought you had. That's how you get better. Not by staying comfortable, but by seeking out the S that breaks most people. You know what most people get wrong about motivation? They think it's a permanent fix. Like once I feel motivated, I'll stay motivated, and that'll carry me through. Bullshit. Motivation is fleeting. It's weak. It's unreliable. You've got to learn to show up and perform without it. You've got to train your mind to push through when there's no purpose, no spark, no drive. Most people fail because they're sitting around waiting to feel like doing something. Guess what? You're not going to feel like it most days. And if that's your excuse, you're already fucked. Motivation is a tool. A spark, a little kindling to start the fire. But you know what keeps the fire burning? Discipline. Relentless fucking discipline. You've got to be your best self when you feel your absolute worst. That's where the magic happens. When you perform without the crutch of motivation. No one's coming to save you. You've got to be your own coach, your own motivator, your own fucking hero. This world is brutal. Life is the ultimate competitor and it's not playing fair. It's going to find your weaknesses and hammer them into the ground. That's why I'm here, to help you armor your mind, to give you the tools to build belief in yourself. Confidence isn't given, it's earned. It's earned by facing every ounce of pain and failure in your life head on. Stop being ashamed of who you are or what you've done. That shame is a cancer eating away at your potential. Own your shit. Face it. Fix it. Make it better. That's how you rise. That's how you become unstoppable. You've got to build a motherfucker who can handle the shitty storm life is going to throw at you. Life isn't about running 200 miles or being the baddest motherfucker in the world. It's about being tough. You need to have a part of you, deep down, that can break down the chaos, face the trauma, and fucking figure it out. Because let me tell you, the trauma is coming. The devastation is coming. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when it hits, you can't let it stop you. It can't be a fucking wall that you crash into and quit. That S has to become something you maneuver through, climb over, or smash to pieces. But that kind of response takes toughness, mental toughness, that most people just don't have. Here's the thing. Unchosen suffering is inevitable. Life's going to throw punches you didn't see coming. So how do you prepare for that? You practice chosen suffering. You do something that sucks every single fucking day. You make yourself uncomfortable on purpose. That's your training ground for the hard-ass life's going to bring. I see so many people with insane potential, but they refuse to get their asses off the couch. They won't study harder. They won't push deeper. They won't suffer a little to get better. That's where I gain the advantage. It's so damn easy to stand out in today's world because most people are soft as hell. They don't want to go the extra mile. They don't want to do what sucks. They don't want to be alone in their grind. But let me tell you something. When you overcome yourself, when you beat the weak, lazy version of you into submission, you become unstoppable. You've got to want that. You've got to want to be better. And it starts with pride. Not the bad kind of pride, but pride in who you are, pride in your name, pride in what you stand for. If you don't have that, no one can give it to you. Without pride, you'll fold every single time. I'm proud of myself now. Not because I'm perfect, but because I earned it. I hold myself to a fucking standard. Everywhere I went in the military, there was an ethos, a mission statement, a way we're supposed to carry ourselves. And you know what? Most people didn't live up to it. So I made my own ethos, my own mission statement for how I wanted to live, how I wanted to represent myself. You've got to do the same. Write your own damn mission statement. Decide who you want to be in life, what you stand for, and hold yourself accountable to that every single day. Don't wait for some company or some boss to set the standard for you. Set your own. Because if you don't know what you stand for, you'll sit your ass down every time life gets hard. But if you know who the fuck you are, if you know your mission, then nothing can break you. That's how you win. That's how you become the standard. Because make no mistake, this world will fucking test you. It'll beat you down until you're begging for mercy. Life isn't some friendly game. It's the ultimate competitor, and it's relentless. It will find your weaknesses, exploit them, and hammer you into the ground. If you're not ready, you'll fold. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m., your mind will whisper, stay in bed. You don't negotiate with that bitch. You say, this is what we fucking do now. Not because it's fun, not because you want to, but because the pain, the grind, the shit you hate doing is the only path to the other side. Here's the truth. More often than not, you'll be doing things you don't want to do. That's the norm. You don't get to pick the easy route if you're chasing something big. But once you lock into that mindset, once you accept that suffering is just part of the process, it becomes like breathing. You don't question it. You just fucking do it. I don't love this lifestyle. Nah, man. But to reach the other side, you've got to go through hell. There's no detour, no magic elevator to the top. You suffer, you struggle, and you grow. When your brain and body sync up and you embrace the grind, you realize just how far you can push yourself. That's what I'm trying to do. Armor people's minds, build belief, and create unshakable confidence. Because this life isn't going to go easy on you. It's going to find your weakest point and attack it. If you don't have the mental toughness to fight back, you're done. But if you build yourself brick by fucking brick, if you know who you are and what you stand for, nothing can break you. On the other side of pain is a world most people will never see because they're too scared to step into the fire. But that world is beautiful. It's where you find out who the fuck you really are. In the grind, It never stops. You can't rest on yesterday's work. You don't stay sharp by putting down the sword. You keep swinging every damn day because when you stop, you lose it. If you want to be a bad motherfucker, the best at what you do, you better be ready to be misunderstood by everybody. Why? Because you're going to be so fucking obsessed, so driven, so laser focused on your goal that people won't be able to wrap their heads around it. That's what it takes. It takes every damn second of your life. People will talk about balance like it's the secret sauce. Yeah, sure, balance works for most people, but if you want to live on that razor's edge, if you want to walk that line where people don't like you, don't get you, and question everything you do, that's where greatness lies. When people look at you and think, this guy's psycho, he's nuts. What the fuck is wrong with him? Congratulations, you've arrived. Why am I in the gym at 1 a.m.? Why am I running when everyone else is sleeping? You'll never fucking understand, and I'm glad you don't. That means I'm exactly where I need to be. When people don't understand your grind anymore, that's when you know you're in that space of obsession and drive. And when someone says, what's wrong with this guy? I don't even want to talk to them because they're not going to get it. People want peace first. They'll say, man, you're always talking about suffering and pain. Why can't you just chill? Let me tell you something. Peace doesn't come first. If you find peace without the suffering, good for you. Merry fucking Christmas. But for the rest of us, peace lives on the other side of the fire. You've got to go through the pain, the trials, the accountability. And let me tell you, accountability is suffering. It's holding yourself responsible every single day to do what's right. Not just for yourself, but for the people around you. That shit is measurable and it's hard. Most people don't have a new norm. My new norm, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I suffer. That's just how I live. Most people want to escape that suffering. Not me. I looked at it and said, no, motherfucker, this is who you are now. This is your new life. And guess what? When that becomes your mentality, nothing feels hard anymore. That's when you realize you've leveled the fuck up. I don't give a fuck if anybody knows. I don't want anybody to know. I'm an introvert. I live this quiet ass introverted life and I fucking love it. That shit fuels me. Why? Because I know there's damn near nobody out there grinding harder than me. And if there is, good. Let me find out about you and I'll make damn sure I turn it up a notch. That's the mentality. That's the whole fucking game right there. Whatever the fuck you think you are, you've got to turn that dream into reality. But that's the hard part, isn't it? That's where the real work comes in. People always ask, how do you keep grinding every day? The answer, you take your insecurities, your fears, all that shit you're ashamed of, and you make them your fucking fuel. Back when I was 300 pounds, I didn't have a damn ounce of drive. I'm going to be a Navy SEAL. What kind of dumbass shit is that? A 300-pound lying, scared little bitch saying he's going to be a SEAL. It didn't make sense. But I had to stare into my insecurities, face my fears, and pull some drive out of all that darkness. Everybody's out here searching for passion. Guess what? Passion isn't some magical shit you stumble on. It's right there in front of you. In your insecurities, your fears, your doubts. That shit is a gold mine of energy. But you've got to dig into it. Dive into that pain. That's where you'll find the fuel. When you can take all the shit you hate about yourself, your doubts, your fear, your insecurity, and use it to drive you forward, you become fucking unstoppable. If that voice is telling you you're weak, if it's feeding you bullshit excuses, you got to shut it the fuck up. Change the dialogue. You're not a victim, and the world isn't out to get you. I used to think like that. No one understands me. No one gets it. But you know what? That mindset will keep you stuck exactly where you are. I saw myself as the weakest motherfucker alive. That's how I started. But I made it my mission to turn that shit around and become the hardest man God ever created. Your mind wants to control you. You tell it, fuck you, I run this shit. Motivation isn't enough. You've got to have a vision of where you're going, and you've got to grind even when you don't want to. Especially when you don't want to. That's when you prove to yourself who the fuck you really are. Man, you can't explain it to most people. They're stuck in their comfortable lives, wandering around without purpose. So when they see someone who's all in, who's obsessed, they don't get it. They call you crazy. But no, I'm not crazy. I'm fucking passionate. I found my purpose. And if you want to be great, if you want to be a bad motherfucker at what you do, you're going to be misunderstood. You'll be so obsessed, so driven, people won't know what the fuck to make of you. That's the price. Step 1, face yourself, own your shit. Be real about what you're not so you can become what you want to be. I called myself fat because I was fat. People don't want to do that. They want to sugarcoat it like, oh, don't call yourself fat. Fuck that. If you can't be raw and real with yourself, nothing's going to change. In today's soft-ass world, people want to hear you're just a little big. No, motherfucker, you're fat. Own it. Face it. Wake up every damn day and attack it. You've got to be patient too. Accept where you are right now, but don't settle. If you're fat, you need to lose weight. Losing 3 or 4 pounds, that's a win. I started by losing 6 pounds. Then it was 10. Then 50. Every pound I lost, I gained confidence. It's about going to war with yourself every day. Setting challenges, goals, obstacles, shit that feels impossible. That's how you find yourself. That's how you unlock the tools you didn't even know you had. But you'll never find those tools if you don't fucking push yourself into the most uncomfortable places. Stop waiting for the perfect moment and start rewriting who the fuck you are. Everybody wants toughness. Everybody wants to be hard, but here's the problem. You're looking for it in a comfortable fucking environment. Newsflash, you're not going to find it there. Toughness doesn't live in your cozy little world. Those of you listening to this, hear me loud and clear. You will not find toughness sitting on your fat ass. I looked for it everywhere. The only way I found it was by drowning myself in life's chaos. I threw myself into situations where I couldn't swim, where I was gasping for air, where I was fucking drowning. But instead of quitting, I said, no, fuck that. I'll figure out how to backstroke, dog paddle, or whatever the fuck it takes. Man, we're all just 1% away from true greatness. That last 1% is everything. There's a world of difference between 99% and 100%. I used to think I was giving 100%, but I wasn't. I was just 1% short of the life I wanted, the success I dreamed of. And that's the 1% most people fucking sleep on. It's the not today, maybe tomorrow bullshit. Guess what? Tomorrow never fucking comes if you keep that attitude. And you know why it's so easy to be great these days? Because most people are weak as fuck. They hit snooze, not just on their alarm clock, but on their fucking life. While they're taking the day off, you're grinding. You're building. And when you think about all those soft-ass people who are too scared or lazy to push themselves, it should fire you up. It's easy to win when everyone else is weak. And belief. That's what separates the real from the fake. But belief isn't just some feel-good believe in yourself hallmark bullshit. Belief is built. You build belief by proving to yourself over and over again that you can do hard things. For me, it was Hell Week. 3 times. Ranger School. Delta Force selection. I stacked up undeniable proof. That's belief. That's confidence. It's earned, not given. When you're staring down something hard and think, I can't do this, you need to look at that stack of proof you've built and say, no, fuck that. I can do this. Confidence isn't magic. It's a product of the work you've put in. And you know what else? You've got to learn how to dream, but don't let dreams own you. Dreams are powerful, but they're not the end game. Too many people sit back and fantasize about being great, being a SEAL, an athlete, whatever, and they stop there. The dream becomes their master. That's not how it works. You have to master the dream. We live in a world of distractions, phones, Google, social media. It's a fucking epidemic. I hate it. Why? Because all that noise drowns out your purpose. You're too busy comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel to figure out who the F you are. I've been there. Growing up, they called me every name in the book. All that noise rattled around in my head for years until I said, fuck this, and silenced it. I stopped listening to the world and started listening to me. Half of you don't even know what you want because you've never spent any real time with yourself. You're too busy scrolling, podcasting, and living vicariously through other people. Cut that shit out. Get off the apps, get off the noise, and get back to the mental lab. Sit with yourself. Be uncomfortable in the silence. That's when you'll start to hear your own voice. And when you do, everything will start to line up. Your goals, your purpose, your life, everything will start to line up. Look, man, you're on this earth for a reason. If you don't believe that, you're fucking lost. You're going to suffer and it'll hurt like hell. But when I started to look at my life, the beatings, the failures, the racism, the pain, I realized something. I realized every single thing I went through was training. God, the universe, whatever you believe in. That power put me here to endure that shit because there was a purpose behind it. Now I see it. I've touched hundreds of thousands of lives because of the hell I went through. There's power in that. Once I flipped my perspective from woe is me to this is my training ground, everything changed. I stopped asking why me and started saying, I see what you're doing. You knew exactly what the fuck you were doing. My story resonates with people because I don't hide. I don't sugarcoat shit. I tell you exactly who the fuck I am, flaws and all. Most people hide. They bury their shit under the rug, but that's not how you fix anything. You've got to face it, deal with it, and then you'll find peace. How does a 297-pound guy, a fucking quitter, someone who gave up on everything, become one of the hardest motherfuckers on the planet? I'll tell you how. I changed my fucking mindset. That's it. I decided to believe in myself and then put in the work to back up that belief. It wasn't magic. It was hard fucking work, day in and day out. You got to make a choice. Are you going to be a badass or some mediocre ass nobody? Who's okay with being just fine? Let me tell you something, being a badass fucking hurt. Life isn't fair. And it's not supposed to be. It's a fucking battlefield, a proving ground. Life's here to beat the shit out of you, to test you, to make you harder than steel. The question is, what the hell are you going to do about it? The only way through this life is your damn mentality. That's it. I've been the underdog my whole fucking life. No one was coming to save me. No one was going to show up with some magic wand and make me special. Everyone who called me a black ass, my dad beating the hell out of me, my mom bailing on me, it was all on me now, no excuses, no pity party, so I built it. The most powerful weapon on this damn planet, my mind. An indestructible mental toolbox. And it wasn't easy. I had to believe that every single ounce of pain I went through had a fucking purpose. Getting bullied, getting beaten, being broke as hell, having no foundation to stand on. It all happened for a reason. And that reason, it was to figure out what the fuck human potential really is and unlock that code, not just for me, but so I can show others what's possible. I'm blown away by what a human being can do. I built this version of me. Goggins, out of scraps, broken parts, trash, shit that nobody else wanted. I took all that pain, all that suffering, and I started putting it together. And piece by piece, failure by failure, I turned myself into something unbreakable. But here's the thing, I didn't get here by pretending to be some perfect badass. The thing that made me who I am today, vulnerability, breaking myself down to rock fucking bottom and being real. Looking people in the eye and saying, you know what, I've lied, I've cheated, I've been insecure as hell. I faked my way through shit because I wanted your approval. That's the truth. And that's how I fixed it. You don't get the Goggins without owning your shit. You don't become indestructible without first being destroyed. So what's it going to be? You staying soft or you going to fucking level up? Man the fucking mind. Your mindset is the only thing standing between you and failure. It's how you see yourself, how you push yourself, how you focus when everything around you is screaming to quit. People think their phones or podcasts or whatever bullshit they're scrolling through is going to save them. Let me tell you something. That shit won't help you when you're alone in the trenches. Those headphones ain't pulling your ass out of the mud. What's helped me is me. Standing in front of the mirror, owning my shit. And saying, this is who I am. And this is who I'm fucking becoming. Accountability isn't pretty, but it's everything. In the world we live in, it's a fucking box. Your brain keeps you trapped in that little comfort zone with its nice paved roads, gas stations and safe stops. But outside that box, outside the suffering, there's an endless fucking horizon of opportunities. God's not handing you a map for that. He's handing you a shovel and saying, start digging. It's brutal. It's ugly. But on the other side of that digging is a life you can't even imagine. I was 300 fucking pounds. I was a loser. Now I'm 185 pounds of fucking drive and focus because I climbed that damn wall. And you know what? On the other side, I found something insane. I love the pain. I love the grind. I love finding out just how far the human mind can go. There's glory in the suffering, man. There's joy in the shit people run from. Taking souls isn't about beating someone else. It's about proving to yourself that you can dig deep when there's nothing left. Energy doesn't come from outside. It's not in your TV, your music, or some motivational video. The real energy, that's inside you. It's in the silence. in those moments when you're alone and want to quit, but you don't. Most people, they die without ever tapping into what's inside them. They think someone else was born with better tools or better luck. Fuck that. The only tool you need is the willingness to grind yourself into dust, to become nothing and then rebuild yourself again, over and over. That's where the magic is. That's where life fucking happens. You've got to be willing to fucking work. Period. No excuses, no shortcuts. But everywhere I go, all I hear is talk. So much damn talk. Everyone's got advice. What you should be doing, how you should be living. And you look at these clowns, they're fat, out of shape, and their lives are a fucking mess. You're going to tell me how to live. Get the fuck out of here with that. The woe is me mentality is killing people. Life's not fair. It's too hard, poor me. Shut that shit down. Bullshit. The second you start looking around, judging yourself by other people, comparing your life to theirs, you've already lost. All that outside noise is corrupting your mind, is making you weak. You're not in competition with anyone else. This is about you vs you. David Goggins vs David Goggins, that's it. Silence the fucking noise. When you stop worrying about everyone else and focus on your own battle, that's when the real growth starts. But here's the thing. People want peace without putting in the work. They want to skip the pain, the suffering, the grind. They want to cover it all up with a cozy blanket and pretend it doesn't exist. That's bullshit. You don't get peace without going to war. You've got to step into the hellhole that fucked you up, face it head on, and fix it. That's what this is about. It's not pretty, and it's not supposed to be. If you want peace, you've got to go to war with yourself. You've got to put yourself in the hardest situations, take all that shit that's holding you back and crush it. This isn't about smiling through it and pretending it's fun. It's about digging deep and doing the hard, ugly work, the kind of work that rips you apart before it builds you back up. You'll be uncomfortable as fuck. But that's where the transformation happens. I'm not here talking theory. I'm not one of these fucking theorists who studies the mind in a library or reads about suffering in a book. I didn't learn about grit and toughness by sitting on my ass. I learned it by being in it, by putting my mind through hell and figuring out how to survive. That's the difference. I didn't study it. I lived it. Mentality is everything. It's the can't hurt me mentality. I don't care if you came from the sewer, the streets, or the fucking penthouse. It doesn't matter. When I climbed out of the sewer and hit the road, I looked around and said, can't hurt me. And I meant it. Nothing in this world should be able to fucking hurt you if you believe it can't. That shit starts in your head. You tell yourself it's true enough times, it becomes your reality. I didn't care about impressing anybody. No fame, no money, no applause. Fuck all that noise. I wanted one thing. To impress the guy staring back at me in the damn mirror. That's it. When I was fat, miserable, and broken, I sat down and built a man in my mind. A man who didn't even exist yet. I said, that's the guy I want to be. That's the fucker I'm going to create. And every day, I busted my ass endlessly and tirelessly to become him. I didn't care if it killed me. I wanted to die knowing I gave it everything, that I became the person I needed to be, not for anyone else, but for me. Here's the truth. If you weren't born that guy, the mentally strong guy, the tough as nails guy, you can fucking make him. But you've got to be real with yourself every damn day. You've got to show up as you, not some fake ass version of yourself, trying to impress people who don't matter. And when people come at you telling you you're doing it wrong, fuck them. Man, the ultimate power is owning yourself, not the version people want, not the version that's easy or comfortable. The real raw you, that's how I got to where I am. I stopped giving a fuck about feelings. Not with my family, not with the people I love. Don't get it twisted. I'm talking about shutting off the feelings that stop you from being great. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 a.m. and it's cold as shit outside, your feelings don't matter. When it's raining, when you're tired, when you don't feel like putting in the hours, that's the moment you shut down those feelings and get to work. When everyone's gone home, the building's dark. It's a 15-story building and there's one light on. Just one. Every day when people leave the club at 2 a.m., they see that same fucking light on. That's the motherfucker who wins. That's the person willing to go further, longer, and harder than anyone else. You want to be great. You've got to be that person. You can't sit there feeling sorry for yourself because everyone else is relaxing, going home to their families, and you're still grinding. You've got to shut those feelings off. Greatness doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't give a fuck about your excuses. So who's going to carry the boats? It's got to be you. Here's what I learned. When you're truly committed to something, it's not about, I want to do this, but if it gets hard, maybe not. Fuck that. True commitment is, I'm going to do this no matter what. Come hell or high water, you can throw every obstacle at me. I don't give a fuck. I'm getting there. And let me tell you something, David Goggins didn't know that level of commitment back then. I knew how to do the basic shit. Wash a car, clean a house, manual labor. But when it came to real suffering, the kind of suffering that strips you down to nothing, I didn't have it. I didn't have that next level. So I went into the mental lab. I looked myself in the mirror and said, all right, motherfucker, you want to be great, but you don't have greatness in you yet. You've got to build it. You've got to create that shit. And I did. I'm big on visualization. People love to call it bullshit. Let them think what they want. I don't give a fuck. This is the truth. I sat down with myself and said, this is what I want to look like. This is how I want to feel. I want a mind so fucking sharp it could cut through steel. A mind that doesn't dull, doesn't bend, doesn't break. So I started building. I built a version of myself that could face the kind of shit that destroys most people, including the old me. I built a man who wouldn't waver, wouldn't fear, wouldn't run. Instead, I taught myself to stay. Stay in the fear, stay in the suffering, marinate in it, let it burn. And through that process, I created something else. When it got hard, when life said, fuck you, David, I didn't back down, I called on Goggins, and that's when I became who I needed to be. If you show up to Navy SEAL training unprepared, you're gonna fucking quit, period. So I built my own training ground, my own personal hell. I started doing shit that David Goggins couldn't handle, stuff that broke me down to nothing. But here's the thing, Goggins started to rise, slowly, painfully, but he showed up. I'd visualized the man I wanted to be. Not the weak-ass version of me, but the fucking savage I needed to become. And every time I hit the water, every time it got brutal, Goggins would step in. When David Goggins showed up with his soft, scared excuses, Goggins would slap that motherfucker down and drag him through the shit. That's how it went. Day after day, hit after hit, Goggins evolved. And let me tell you, Goggins became the guy who could take anything. Torture, pain, suffering. And not just survive it, but come after you again. That's the evolution. That's the transformation. Now people say, don't be like him. I get it. They ask, was it worth it? Damn right, it was worth it. But let me challenge that mindset. You think it's too much. You're right, it's too much. And that's why most of what I'm saying isn't for everybody. This shit is for the 1%. The uncommon among the uncommon. So if you don't want to be like me, fine. But let me ask you this. Is it so bad to have millions of dollars in the bank? Is it bad to have 2 best-selling books? Is it bad to be a Navy SEAL, an Army Ranger, and make it through Delta Force and Air Force smoke jumper training? Is it bad to hit 47 years old, look back and say, I've done it all? What's next? Because the moment I thought of something, I fucking did it. If that's bad, then I don't want to know what good looks like. You know why people say it's bad? Because it's exhausting. It's fucking hard. Most people can't project what it takes to live like this. And when they do, it looks like hell. It looks like endless suffering. It looks like a level of dedication that scares the shit out of them. And you know what? It is all those things. But here's the truth. I front-loaded my life. I paid the price up front. I embraced the grind, the pain, and the suffering early so I can have everything on my terms later. If you think that's bad, stay in your comfort zone. But don't look at me like I'm the problem just because I went all in when you didn't. Everything I ever wanted to do, I did the second I thought about it. No hesitation. Now, at 47, I'm technically retired. But I don't live like it. I don't need to. I choose not to. Why? Because your brain is the most powerful fucking weapon you've got. All this shit we've got today. Phones, computers, instant access to everything. Yeah, it's cool, it's convenient. But when life punches you in the mouth, none of that shit can save you. You can't Google your way out of depression. You can't text your way through death. Man, in the real fucking world. When the lights are off and you're lying there alone, it's just you and your brain. Your brain is smart. It knows when you're bullshitting. It knows when you're lying to yourself. It'll call you out. But if you show it that you're serious, if you give it no other option, it'll adapt. It'll overcome. People ask me all the time, how the fuck were you in Navy SEAL training for 18 months? The program's only 6 months long. 3 whole weeks in 1 year. Nobody's ever done that. How'd you do it? I'll tell you how. I gave myself no fucking way out. No quit, no excuses, no backup plan. I took control of my brain and said, we're staying in this fight until the end. That's how. That's the only way. When I was grinding through Navy SEAL training for 18 months, 3 whole weeks, broken bones, shin splints, body duct taped together, I realized something real fucking quick. This wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't some short-term pain. This was life now. My new fucking norm. I told myself every day I'm putting on my suit and tie, but my job isn't some desk bullshit. It's suffering. That's my 9 to 5. Suffering, being broken, bleeding, pushing through pain. My brain got the memo. It started saying, if we're not broken, this shit ain't normal. Let's stay broken. People ask me, how the fuck did you run on broken feet? On busted shins? Easy, my mind already knew. This is how we operate now. This is the standard. This is who the fuck we are. I didn't just survive Hell Week. I became hell. I wasn't just a student in Navy SEAL training. I was the fucking CEO of that shit. I owned it. I immersed myself so deep in the suffering that I became it. There was no way out, no escape. The only way was through. Man, most people don't fucking understand this. What's inside you? You have no clue. None. Not until you go all in. Not until you obsess over becoming something better. And it's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be hard. That's when you know you're leveling up. People hear my story and think I'm some kind of sadistic psychopath. Nah, man. I just figured out how the brain works. I was a scared kid with no foundation. I built this shit from scratch, brick by brick, by studying the mind and pushing myself into the fire over and over again. You hit a point where you feel invincible, not because you can do it all the time, but because you know you can do it when it counts. Running on broken legs, enduring what others won't. That's power. That's what it means to own your fucking life. Man, when you're duct taping your fucking feet at 3 a.m. because they're broken, and you're about to go through one of the hardest trainings in the world, that's when the truth comes out. Most of these guys around me were healthy. Top of the line, physical studs. And there I was, broken as fuck, duct taping myself together, already starting from a disadvantage. But you know what? I was still fucking there. The sympathetic nervous system. That fight or flight shit kicks in, and you can either use it or let it break you. You can sit there and say, man, I'm broken, I'm not gonna make it. Or you can flip the script. I'm broken. And I'm still here. I'm fighting, motherfucker. And I'll keep fighting until there's nothing left because I've got nowhere else to go. That mindset. That's where the power comes from when shit starts to suck really, really bad. Here's the thing most people don't get. When the suffering gets deep, when it's crushing your body, your spirit, your will to keep going, your brain doesn't go back to all that anger, all that rage. It doesn't replay the scenes of your dad beating you down or the people who doubted you. Your brain just says, fuck this, we gotta run. This is miserable. Get out. Anger won't save you when you're at your lowest. It fades. What you need is something deeper, something primal. So deep is buried in the fucking dirt where nothing can burn. You gotta dig down to that mineral soil at the core of your soul. That's where your will lives. That's the part of you that can't be destroyed. But here's the thing. You don't find that shit by accident. You only find it when you commit, obsess, and spend time figuring out who the fuck you want to be. No one can give that to you. Not me, not anyone. It's on you. For me, I didn't give a shit about titles. Navy SEAL, Army Ranger, whatever. I wanted to serve my country, but deeper than that. I wanted to be someone I was proud of. I spent years looking in the mirror, hating what I saw. That accountability mirror didn't lie to me. I saw a weak, broken man who needed everyone else's approval. People loved David Goggins, but I didn't love myself. Back in the day when shit got tough, I was out. Done. See you later. That was the old me. weak as fuck. But I realized something. That version of me wasn't going to survive. So I invented someone who could. I invented Goggins. Goggins wasn't the strongest, the fastest, or the most talented, but he had one thing: a fucking bulletproof mind. He figured out we're not good enough, but mentally we can outlast every motherfucker out there. That's what it's about. Building a mind that says, fuck you, I'm staying in the fight. People want to talk shit about me all the time. David Goggins, oh, he ruined his body, ran too much, did too much. Let me tell you something. My body may break, but my mind won't. And you don't want to be like me. Fine. But I'll tell you this. When life punches you in the fucking mouth, you're going to wish you had a fraction of what I've got. So stop waiting for purpose. Stop waiting for easy. Get your ass up and make it happen. No one's coming to save you. It's all on you. I gave every fucking thing I had, every fucking thing. I left nothing on the table. And when you give it all, every ounce, every drop, there's no room for regret. None. People didn't get me back then. Hell, they still don't get me now. You think I care? Fuck no, I knew what the fuck I was doing the whole time. I'm not some crazy ass masochist. I'm not out here trying to prove shit to people who don't matter. People love to slap labels on me, box me in, but they don't get it. I wasn't chasing some title. I had a fucking mission. When people ask, why does he do all this? What's the point? I tell them straight. I'm on a journey most people can't even comprehend. This isn't about running, pull-ups, or races. It's about my mind. I'm taking my brain places 99% of people are too scared to go. They don't understand because they're not willing to walk into the fire. They look at the way I live and try to twist it, misunderstand it, misinterpret it. But I'm not here for them. I'm here to understand me. To take my mind to those dark, fucked up places most people run from. That's where the real lessons are. You want to find answers. Man, they're not in the light. The light is too fucking comfortable, too soft. Happiness doesn't teach you shit because it doesn't challenge you. It's the dark times, the suffering, the pain, that carve you into something greater. You don't stumble into the darkness. You have to fucking put yourself there. And when life drags you down into that pit, you don't claw your way out. You sit in that shit. You feel it. You feel it. You learn from it. People ask me, how do you do it? How did you go from not being able to read and write until high school to this? Here's how, motherfucker. I studied the darkness. I didn't just live it. I dissected it. Growing up watching my mom get beat, getting my own ass kicked, being that stuttering little black kid in a white school, standing on a stage in front of 15 people, knowing I had to say just one damn line and still walking off because I couldn't fucking do it. That shit crushed me. I'd go home crying my eyes out thinking, man, I'm so fucking broken. But then something clicked. I told myself, we got to face this shit. We got to figure it out. I didn't run. I didn't hide. I studied that pain, those insecurities, that fear. And I turned it into fucking fuel. Every time I'm in a dark ass moment, when life's fucked up, whether it's physical pain or just the bullshit life throws at you, I dive into that shit, man. I grab the pen and paper and I face it head on. I tell myself, all right, this sucks. I feel like I'm about to lose my damn mind. Let's fucking study this. Let's come out of this darkness as a motherfucking genius. Man, everyone's out here talking about discipline, determination, reps, consistency. But why the fuck do people keep falling off the wagon? It's because their mind is so cluttered with bullshit. There's no room for that discipline to stick. They might wake up early once or twice, take a couple of cold showers, but then their overloaded mind, the cluttered mental garage, takes over. It's like a circuit breaker. Too much shit on the system, and it blows. Man, that's why I keep telling people, clear the fucking space in your head. You've got to clean out that mental garage before you can make room for the grind. The discipline, the structure. You can't just pile on more habits and expect them to stick when your mind's already overloaded with chaos. Man, most people's minds are a damn mess. They're juggling kids' schedules, dealing with a shitty boss, running through drive-thru-us, rushing through life, feeling like they're falling short at every turn. I want a raise, but my boss is a dick. I want to work out, but I'm too fucking tired. And on and on. How the hell are you going to find greatness in that? You can't. There's no space for it. No space for discipline. No space for consistency. No space for the grind. Every time you try, that mental clutter buries you again. So here's the thing. You've got to do the hard work of clearing out your mind first. Face your shit. Organize your thoughts. Then, and only then, can you start stacking the habits, the discipline, the cold showers, the early mornings. That's when you find out what you're really made of. But first, you've got to clean out the garage. Every time I'm in a bad situation, when life's throwing that heavy shit my way, I study it. I don't just sit there feeling sorry for myself. Fuck no, I break that shit down. That's the only reason I do half the shit I do. I'm not out here running and grinding just to look tough. I'm studying myself, man. Because here's the truth. I've always known I fucking sucked. I wasn't born special. I wasn't born talented. I was that kid who believed he was a damn loser from day one. So I didn't start this journey thinking I'd be writing books or helping people. I started because I knew I needed to get better. Because I knew I wasn't shit. And here's what I do. I take snapshots, man. You know how you take a picture on your phone? Save it for later. I do that with my mind. I get into these dark ass moments and I'm like, okay, this sucks, but there's some gold in here. That's some good knowledge right there. I snapshot it because I know I'll need it later. I'm not out here like most people running through the mountains, staring at the scenery like, oh, this is so beautiful. Look at the birds and shit. Fuck that. My body hurts. I'm suffering. And while I'm suffering, I'm asking, how do we get through this? It's my lab, my mental lab. When I get home from a run, a workout, or a grind session, I don't just let that shit fade. I write it down. Every lesson, every struggle, every ounce of pain. It all goes on paper. Why? Because I'm not just relying on talent. Talent only takes you so far. When talent runs out, what the fuck are you going to do? Most people quit. They hit their wall and they're done. That's where the mental game kicks in. And let me tell you, most people aren't ready for it. They only perform to their talent level. They wonder, why do I always hit this same wall? Why can't I break through? It's because their mind has nothing left for them. Man, I see it all the time. Fighters, runners, people who are great, but only up to a point. They hit the edge of their talent and they crumble. That's where I live. That's where I thrive. When talent doesn't mean shit anymore, it's all mental. That's the next level. And most people never get there because they're too fucking soft. I wasn't born with much talent, so I had to build something else. I had to train my mind because my physical skills would run out quick. Back in the day when shit got hard, I was the first to quit. I'd be like, fuck this, I'm out. But that wasn't good enough. So I had to invent someone who wouldn't quit. I invented Goggins. Goggins doesn't give a fuck about talent. Goggins knows we're not good enough physically. But mentally, we're strong as fuck. And that's where we win. We don't rely on talent. We outthink, outsuffer, and outlast every motherfucker out there. So many people out here just want the easy way. They're looking for shortcuts, excuses, and motherfucking handouts. Sorry to break it to you, but life doesn't work like that. What they do instead is build this bullshit narrative. It's okay. It's fine. I'm good where I'm at. No. The real narrative should be, get your ass up, work harder, and discipline your mind. We're not helping anyone by saying, it's okay that you're not willing to help yourself. That's bullshit. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. I don't give a fuck if it's your life. If you think it's okay to live like that, you're lying to yourself. Look, man, I've been there. I've told myself those same weak ass stories. And if I had stayed in that mindset, I wouldn't be shit. I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. People create these little escape routes in their minds, these ultimate get out of jail free cards. And now the world is set up to make it easier than ever to justify mediocrity. Everything's okay. And if you call it out, you're the asshole. People ask me, why are you always yelling, man? Motherfucker, this is how I talk because I'm proud. I'm proud, not because I think I'm special, but because I fucking earned the right to speak this way. I know where I came from. I was a fat, sloppy piece of shit. I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't be alive, but I am. And I'm proud because I climbed out of that hole. Most people can't admit they're fucked up. They can't face it. But I can stand here and say, yeah, I was fucked up. I was broken. But I fixed myself. It wasn't easy. It was about showing up every day, even when I didn't want to. Every time I didn't want to get up, but did anyway. That was me chipping away at the rock. That's what it is. You start as this rough ass rock. And every time you eat the right food, every time you train harder, every time you get up earlier, You're chipping away little by little. You're sculpting yourself into something great. One day you look at what you've done and you see it. You see what you've built. And you realize, holy shit, I did this. I fucking did this. But most people won't get there. They're too scared to start chipping away. The real fear isn't failure. It's never reaching your potential. It's waking up one day as an old man looking back and realizing you quit too soon. You procrastinated. You didn't do the hard shit. And now you're filled with regret, knowing you could have been great. I remember one time I was out running, fat as hell, 300 pounds, trying to figure my life out. I ran by a graveyard and it hit me. I looked out there and thought, how many of you motherfuckers in there are pissed about how you lived your life? How many of you died with regret, knowing you could have done more? I told myself right then and there, don't fucking die like this. Don't let your story end this way. That's the mindset. That's what drives me. Every day I'm alive is another chance to chip away at that stone and build something I'm proud of. You can do it too, but only if you stop with the excuses and start doing the work. People always ask me, where does this shit come from? It comes from fucking deep thought, man. Real deep shit. Trying to figure out what the hell this life is about. What am I about? Why the fuck am I even here? I had to find purpose, and I'll tell you what, my suffering, it had a motherfucking purpose. It wasn't random. It wasn't for nothing. It meant something. Man, people build confidence in all kinds of ways. Some folks, they read a damn book, go to yoga, grow up with supportive parents who tell them they're the shit. That wasn't my story. Where I came from. Man, I didn't just start at zero. I was buried 10 feet under. No belief, no confidence, nothing. I had to grind that shit into my brain every single day, one brutal step at a time. The stuff I do, the crazy miles, the late nights, the relentless grind, it's not for show. I'm building belief every damn day. My belief had to be earned because I started so fucking low. It might take a 200-mile run to convince myself. It might take 100 hours in the gym. For me, it's about proving to myself over and over again that I belong here. Here's the thing. Without belief, you've got nothing. I learned that as a kid. I didn't believe in myself at all, so I had to create it, not just through little wins or easy shit. No, I had to push myself to extremes that most people couldn't even imagine. And I'll say it straight. Unless you've been where I've been, unless you've lived my life, you wouldn't have made it out. No way. I guarantee it. People judge me now without knowing my fucking journey, but that's fine. My belief doesn't come from them. It comes from the shit I've done, the demons I've beaten, every damn step, every ounce of pain, every sleepless night, every challenge I smashed. And that's where I found myself. But here's the thing. I didn't give a fuck about myself for most of my life. Not one bit. And that's why what I do now hits so hard for me. I know what it feels like to not care. I know what it's like to be an introvert, to hide from the world because life beat your ass so bad you didn't want to show your face. That's why I care so much about helping people now. I don't give a shit about selling products or building some fake ass brand. You won't catch me hawking useless bullshit. You know why? Because I care about you killing it. I want you to be better. That's my purpose. To show you that you're capable of so much more than you think. And the truth is, the purpose never leaves us. It's always been there. You just forgot about it. The purpose is you. It's always been you, the number one mission in life. To better your damn self. That's it. That's what it's all about. But here's the real question. Where the fuck are you willing to go to get there? You wake up in the morning, it's cold as fuck, it's dark, it's wet outside. Your knees jacked up, no cartilage, you've got shorts on. And the bullshit excuses are already lining up in your head. It's warm on the couch. Your mind whispers, stay in bed, man. It's cozy, you've got work later. You had an argument last night, you're a little hungover. Just chill, bro. But me, I'm not about that life. See, I know every motherfucker out there ain't doing what I'm about to do. That's what fuels me. That's how you level the fuck up. Right there. That thought fires me up. You know why? Because I know how many people out there have the ability but refuse to get off their ass. They refuse to study a little longer. They refuse to grind a little harder. They refuse to step into the pain because it's uncomfortable. And that's where I find my advantage. Man, when I started this journey, I realized those little percentages add up. Every extra step I took, every moment I stayed in the grind, my mind started hardening. I began to pass people who I thought were untouchable. And before I knew it, I became uncommon among the uncommon. Life isn't about just surviving. It's a fucking training ground. You can live 80 boring ass years and still graduate at the bottom of the class. That's not what I wanted. Commitment isn't some weak ass, half-assed I want to do this. But only if it's easy. No, it's I'm doing this come hell or high water. But David Goggins, he wasn't ready for that level of commitment. I knew how to wash cars, clean houses, do manual labor. But when it came to true suffering, the kind that breaks most people, I didn't have the next level. So I went into my mental lab and created a motherfucker who did. In my mind, I visualized it. I said, I want to look like this. I want to feel like this. I want a mind made of cast iron steel that never quits, never stops, never backs down. I wanted to face shit that would fuck most people up, even the old me, and not flinch. I wanted to marinate in the pain, sit in the suffering, and own it. Here's the truth. I want to quit every damn day. But dreams don't die in comfort. They die in suffering. Most people let that suffering kill their dreams. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. It doesn't matter. When the suffering gets too much, they let go of what they wanted the most. I've been there. During rescue training, I wanted it so fucking bad. But that water haunted me, man. The suffering was too much, and my dream died with it. Hell, I almost died with it. But I found the Navy SEALs, and I found a way to face my demons. Every single day, I fight those demons. I look them in the eye, and I don't fucking blink. Because without that fight, without facing that suffering head on, I wouldn't be here today. That's the secret, man. Don't run from the pain. Use it. You can't outrun your demons. Those motherfuckers know exactly where you're hiding, and they'll be waiting for you every damn time. Trust me on that. Don't stop when you're tired. Stop when you're done. That's the difference. And let me clear something up for this soft-ass society we live in now. I'm not saying to put yourself down. People twist my words and think I'm about breaking yourself. Nah, man, I'm about listening to the truth. The truth ain't in that 20% you're comfortable living in. The truth is in that other 80% of your brain saying, look, man, you're wasting a whole lot of potential here. You're leaving 80% of what you could be just sitting on the table. But here's the thing, that other 80% is fucking hard. It's pain, suffering, failure after failure, self-doubt, darkness, and then if you can survive all that, a whole bunch of light. But to get to the light, you've got to crawl through the fire. You've got to walk straight through all that suffering and own it. Most people know the light is out there, but they see the pain in the middle and say, nah, I'll just stay over here where it's safe. I used to be that guy. Growing up, all I wanted was to fit in. I wanted to be part of a group. I didn't have any drive, no purpose, no dog in me. When you live like that, when things get hard, all you do is quit. You crumble because you don't have that fight built inside you. But over the years, I developed that dog, that fight, that warrior spirit. And now when shit gets tough, I might fall, but I always come back swinging. I made a decision. I didn't want to be part of the 99%. I wanted to be the 1%. I realized I've got one life. That's it. No do-overs. One shot. And when that hit me, man, everything flipped. That internal voice in me got louder. It doesn't let me sleep in. It doesn't let me slack off when I know I'm behind. It doesn't allow me to quit, no matter how much it sucks. That's what this is about. Building something inside you that no one can take away. Something that keeps you pushing, even when life knocks you on your ass. But here's the thing. I'm not some naturally gifted, damn athletic prodigy. I wasn't born special. What got me through wasn't talent. It was my dark side. I let that part of me out. The part that feeds on pain, the part that refuses to quit, the part that thrives in the chaos. That's what pulled me through. Man, life is full of crossroads. You're going to have a choice to make, left or right. Left is easy. Left is comfortable. Left is where most people go and they live decent lives, sure. They've got nice families, kids who go to college, all that shit. But you want to know the truth. The real magic is on the right. The hard path, the painful path. It might take you 20 years of grinding, of suffering, of dragging yourself through the mud, but that's where greatness lives. Most people never even start their journey. They die without ever knowing who the hell they could have been. Don't let that be you. You've got to start. It's going to hurt. You're going to cry. You're going to want to quit. But on the other side of all that pain is the version of yourself you're too scared to meet right now. Man, it wasn't until I started reading my own damn book that I realized how pathetic I was as a human being. And I'm not talking about some feel-good, inspirational shit. I mean, really sitting down with myself and owning my truth. I could have blamed my dad for being a brutal bastard. I could have blamed the kids at school who tore me down. I could have blamed my health issues or the fact that my mom, as great as she was, had her own battles to fight. Sure, I could have done that. And for a long time, I did. That's the book one was reading. The victim story. But here's the thing. It wasn't until I said, you know what? Fuck this. If I want to fix my life, I've got to stop blaming everyone else and start reading the truth about me. David Goggins, that's when shit changed. I had to look in the mirror and admit, you're scared of your own shadow. You're weak. You're lazy. You're running from everything that scares you. Once I owned that, I asked myself, how do I fix it? And the answer wasn't pretty. Go to the military, get your ass kicked, do things you hate every single day, be uncomfortable as hell every day of your life. That's how you change. Roger that. Look, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. In fact, I had to admit to myself, you're a dumb motherfucker. And instead of letting someone sugarcoat that shit for me and say, oh no, Goggins, you're smart. I said, no, own it. Roger that. How do you get smarter? You fucking educate yourself. The truth hurts, man. That's why most people run from it. But the only way I became who I am today was by running straight at it. As brutal and painful as it was, the truth broke me down and rebuilt me into someone I could respect. If you feel like you're less than what you are, if you're out there believing you're a nobody, I'm here to tell you that you're full of shit. You've got greatness inside you. And no, greatness isn't running 200 miles or breaking a pull-up record or becoming a SEAL. Greatness is whatever the hell you dream of in your own mind. But here's the thing, you've got to see it first. You've got to create that vision for yourself. That's where I come in. I can't create your vision for you. That's your job. But once you've got it, once you've decided what the hell you want out of life, that's when I show up to help you figure out how to get there. But until you create that vision inside yourself, I'm nobody to you.